name is Marquetta. All right, Miss Monifa Caines, it is so wonderful to see you. So wonderful to have you. Thank you for joining us on the She
Oh my
Serves
God.
Sheroes podcast.
I am honored to be here and I'm so thankful you asked me. So thank
Oh
you.
yeah, of course. I remember the very first day I met you at the Bunker Labs showcase at the beginning
Yes.
of first
Yes.
half of this year. I was
Mhm.
just so impressed. You knew your market, your niche. You just stand so strong. Your table was set up. You had assistants there, and I was just like,
Yes.
love her. So when I found out you were going to be our ambassador, I was so excited to learn from you. So again, it's so wonderful to have you.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I definitely mean it. And so I like to ask everyone the same question and we'll just see how it flows from there. But we can talk about the business you've done, everything you've accomplished, but all the way back to the beginning, I like to ask, why did you sign the dotted line? What made you join the military?
Well, I went to Howard University and I went to school for nursing. So I came out and I was a registered nurse and I went to work. But I just felt like there was more to life. At the time, I was going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home. And after spending time at Howard University, where it's just robust and you're doing things in the community and you're going to school and student government, I was used to doing a lot more. I was used to serving. And something inside of me just said, you have to do more instead of just going to work, coming home. And I met this wonderful woman who is one of my best friends today, Nicole Washington, who said, I'm going to go see an Air Force recruiter. And I was like, really? Tell me about that. And she described the recruiting process and why she's going. And I said, I think I'm looking for that. I want more out of life. And I went to see the recruiter, said all the right things, of course. And I went to other branches too, but I just found myself aligned more with the Air Force. And basically, I wanted to continue to serve, but a different way, and this time for my country. So that's
Awesome.
really how I signed on that dotted line. Yes.
And so, what was your military career like? How did you enjoy being in the service?
Oh, I loved it. I would say that raising my hand and pledging allegiance was one of the smartest things I have done in my lifetime. I honorably served about 9 years. Most of it was a registered nurse. And then I cross-trained and I was a section commander, then a wing exec. So I had a vast array of experiences and I would do it again if I had to. So the friendships I gained, the camaraderie, the lessons I've learned, the leadership, I really know what a team is and what it is to have someone's back. And it's really about the mission and about people. So I learned so much in that time that I still carry that on with me today.
Which is a great segue because all of those things you mentioned, those things that just stick with you, knowing how to be a team player and all the leadership skills and those things that carry on. So now, who are you in business today? Now that you're no longer in the military, you've lived a lot, you've had experiences. Who are you today in business?
Well, I like to say I'm a nonconformist veteran. I don't conform a lot to
I
a lot
love
of
that.
things anymore. I am me. And it took me years to get out of just doing what I'm supposed to do, what people find pleasing or aesthetically pleasing, the way I look, speaking, a lot of things and that's one of the reasons I started my own business so that I can also be me and help other women express themselves. Me today is someone who can be outspoken at times, someone who charts their own line on where they want to go, someone that wants to give back to the community, someone that continues to serve but differently, and someone that really cares about people. And I wake up in the morning doing my business because I also help other women express themselves other ways. So I would say Monifa today is, and I'm still growing every day, is growing into the woman that she always wanted to be in the relaxed atmosphere that I built for myself.
Now you explained that, but you jumped over the hump where you said it took years.
Oh
It's
yeah. Oh yes, it did. It did. When I left the military, there's a lot of rules, how we have to dress, appear, hair, you name it. And I said, wow, I'm leaving the military. I can finally be me. I went into corporate America, but didn't realize there were some unwritten rules and other rules you have to follow to be accepted, to be deemed looking professional. So again, I jumped into another set of rules and I could not really be me. And one of the things that I tell the story a lot is the first thing that I knocked down was putting relaxers in my hair. I have a sensitive scalp. I have put relaxers in my hair to straighten my hair for as long as I can remember. But every month or 6 weeks, when I put that chemical in my hair, I would have scabs, burns. Sometimes some of my hair would fall out. But I was basically hurting myself. But I had to do it at the time, or I thought I had to do it because that's what the regulation said I had to do at the time, and also what it looks like to be professional. So one day I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to keep hurting myself. I'm the one putting this chemical on my scalp that's seeping in my pores, and getting burns every month on my head. And so I stopped and I put braids in my hair so I can grow the chemicals out. I got box braids, I put them in a bun, and I was working at a large company. So I went to work, wore the braids for a while, finally took them out, and I had to go to work. But of course, I still had to look the part, so to speak. So I bought this gel and I put all this gel in my hair and I slicked it back just to try and look normal because, my hair was growing out, and I went to work. And a manager walked by my desk and said, "Oh, you took your braids out." And I said, "Oh, yes, this man noticed my hair. This is great." And he said, "Good. Now you look professional."
Oh, wow.
Yes. And that was when I noticed. And sometimes, yes, they say hindsight is 2020, but you can't connect the dots until some time has passed. And I remembered when I had my braids in, I wasn't invited to certain meetings that I used to be invited to. I wasn't giving some speeches or presenting. So I realized that's one of the things, even though they say we want you to bring your authentic self, I can see they really didn't mean it because I was coming into my own. And so that is when I started to say, you know what, I'm going to stop making myself pleasing just for others, even though I was hurting myself. And I'm going to actually become who I want to become. And so the first thing was the hair. Yes.
Awesome. And you talked about helping other women step
Mhm.
into who they are and walking in their truth.
Yes.
How
Yes.
do you do that?
Well, when he made that comment and I realized, I'm really gonna wear my hair, but then I didn't want to wear the same hairstyle every day. So I went to boutiques, I went to department stores, I went to big box retailers, and I walked through several aisles of hair accessories. And I realized there weren't any for thicker hair textures. And it's very subtle, but if you walk down 2 aisles of every store you go to and couldn't find anything for you, it says something. So I started making my own head wraps, hair combs, hair clips, and I would style my hair differently all the time. And I'd walk down the street and women would actually cross the street and ask me where I bought this. And enough women would walk up to me that I realized, hey, there's a lot of women that have the same problem. They are looking for other ways to express themselves, to beautify themselves, to hold their head up high with their hair and style it. And so therefore, that's how I became Queen of Spades and started my business. Now, what I didn't know at the time is I was helping women express themselves, and the majority of that were women of color. All textures of hair. We have all textures of hair. But now I was making things that they can go and find several things, not just one thing for their texture. But one day I was at my computer and an email popped through, and somebody was looking at my website and contacted me through my website and said, I really like your head wraps, but I've never worn one and I don't know if I can wear one. So I said, can you jump on a Zoom call? And she did. Now, her side of the Zoom call was dark. I could see her. It was the morning time, but I just thought, hey, you know, it's the morning. She didn't want me to see her. And we had a great conversation and I answered all her questions. And then in the end, she said, Monifa, the reason I don't want you to see me is because I'm a cancer survivor. And I lost clumps of hair. And I don't even want to go outside and I don't feel beautiful. So at that moment, I realized there was another community that was looking for other options so they can walk down the street and hold their head up and feel good about themselves. And what they wanted people to see was them and not their diagnosis first. So that's another community that I also help, along with alopecia and other people with certain medical diagnoses, that I can assist. And depending on the medications they are taking, the type of fabrics that I would suggest for them and how to wrap their hair. So yes, there's a vast amount of women that I do help feel good about themselves.
That is awesome, right? Because a lot of times when you do think about head wraps, you think about more of the cultural aspect
Of
and things like
course,
that.
I
But
did.
again,
Yes.
when you're talking about that, opening up a whole new floodgate way
Yes,
to capitalize on your market and really know,
absolutely.
be in touch with what's out there.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
amazing.
Mhm.
So another thing I like to ask, because you know we're always talking about business. Thank you so much for sharing about your business. You know, whether it's a mindset, a mantra that kind of shifts everything and you can't live without it, a resource, a tip, whatever that thing is. Like
Mhm.
for me, it's a lot of like software things because like I love anything that's like new and advanced and techy.
Yes. And I'm trying to keep up. So yes, okay, good. Good for
But
you.
you know, I also have heard someone say it was like a quote that shifted everything and that they can't live without. So just because we all have such different perspectives, I would love to hear what is your top resource, top tool, top software in business, in life that you cannot live without.
Okay. So I have come to learn, and I always tell people, and especially people starting in business, I tell them to find their tribe. You should not be an entrepreneur and not have like-minded people around you. You should not. You have to gather these people, you have to find them, you have to take classes, you have to go to community outings, you have to go to mixers. You have to find your tribe of people at all level of businesses that want to see you win and that you want to see them win too. They're at all different levels, all different disciplines of business, and all of that creates who you're going to be in business, because you are one phone call away from finding the answer or being connected to the person or connected to the person that has the answer or connected
Right.
to someone that can help you. So I always say, find your tribe.
Oh, that is amazing. Yeah, I love that. So, speaking of tribe, one umbrella of tribe is Bunker Labs,
Oh,
where
yes.
I mentioned I know you from and was introduced to you. So, I would love for you again, veterans. There's so many resources out there that there's no
Mhm.
way that anyone can know all of them. So, if you
No.
could just share at least a bit about Bunker Labs and what that is, we'd love to hear about that.
Oh, sure. Well, I first went into Bunker Labs. I used to live in Washington, D.C., and a friend went through Bunker Labs, and I was like, what's that? I took, of course, an entrepreneur course before, but I truly believe at every stage of your business, you should take some course from somewhere, because you'll have new problems, new issues, new things that are coming up. You may pivot. You never know, but keep yourself in the know. And so she told me about Bunker Labs, and I applied. I went to the interview. and they shot me down. The first time I applied for Bunker Labs, they said no. And
Really?
I was astounded. Yeah, I said, "What? I'm great. What are you talking about? You don't want me in your class?" So, so yeah, I had to wait a cycle, and then I applied again. And that second time, they accepted me. So I went through Bunker Labs with who I was supposed to go through Bunker Labs with that first time.
Mm.
Sometimes you're like, why? I know I've asked that question too, but I know why now. I know I wasn't supposed to be in that other class. I know the people that I met in the first class that I went through was, now we're lifelong friends, and they helped me today. Those are the people I was supposed to be with. Then you could only go through Bunker veterans and residents 2 times. So if I were accepted the first time, I would have went through it again. And then when I moved here, I wouldn't have been a part of Bunker Labs. So fast forward, I moved here and I said, I'm going to do my business differently. I'm pivoting, I'm adding stuff. I need to go back and take a course. And that is when I applied for Bunker Labs in Las Vegas and was accepted and was in a cohort that was magical. So sometimes some things are not supposed to happen when you think they're supposed to happen, but because I was delayed being led into a class, it has catapulted me later on to bigger,
Yes.
better things. Yes.
Awesome. Yes. Timing is everything sometimes.
Yes, but going on to Bunker Lab instead of just how I got in, it's we meet once a week. It's an incubator for about 5 months, where it's a cohort of all different levels of people, entrepreneurs, veteran military spouses, Guard, Reserve, active duty, you name it, can apply. And we like to keep the cohorts maybe about 10 to 12 people at a time. We like to keep it small so we can all learn and get the most from each other. But as I was saying, we share, we come together. There's also an instructor, Edgar is our instructor, and goes into thought-provoking and lessons that you learn that we all apply to our businesses. And it's good to apply them as we are going through the course and not waiting for the course to finish. I mean, that's one reason it's 5 months, because if you took a 2-week course, you would probably apply everything after the course. Now, for 5 months, you have no choice but to apply what you're learning right away. And especially come back and say, I'm having problems. But we talk about our issues. We learn how we're going to overcome certain things. We boost each other up. We help each other. We network, which is huge. And also we share resources. We're educated. And that's where the education piece comes in, whether it's from the Bunker Labs headquarters or when we meet every week and go into our different silos of our business. So it's really a rich experience that everybody walks out and get from Bunker Labs. And in the end, there's a showcase where we present our businesses and what we've been doing and what our business is about, and let the world know, how Bunker has helped us, changed us, and upgraded us.
Yeah, for sure. I know that when I was being a veteran career coach and out in the community a lot, I would see like the Bunker Labs tent, and I never knew exactly what it was. Sometimes they'd be live interviewing people, so I thought maybe it was a podcast, something about entrepreneurs.
I didn't know what it was. A Bunker Labs. What is going on here? Yeah. So, but once you know it, apply.
Right, definitely. And
Yes.
for me, when I was introduced to it, like again, timing and how things just kind of seem to like snowball when you're introduced to something.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there's a law that's called, but so I had someone reach out to me in my DMs on LinkedIn, and he was Heroes Linked. Linked,
Yes.
right? So it was the gentleman from Heroes Linked, and he wanted to see if I'd be a part of his organization as what is it called? It's not an ambassador. They are the mentors in there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what
Yeah.
they're called? Oh, yeah.
I think
And
that's,
so
yeah.
So I signed up for his network and did a video with his network. And I want to be more active on Heroes Links. But as we were talking about our roots from Los Angeles, and we are having these conversations. And he's like, there's just people in Bunker Labs you need to meet. And oh, actually, someone else had DM'd me on LinkedIn, Damian Brooks.
Oh
And so
yeah.
we
Yeah.
had this like cold call where we talked for a while, and he's telling me all about Bunker Labs. And, it was almost like, it felt almost like multi-level marketing, because he's like, get on there right now, see if you can apply right now.
No, that young man is a genius though,
Yeah,
but
oh,
yeah,
totally.
yeah.
But so it was like I just had this Bunker Labs coming to me. And it was like, people were coming to me. I wasn't seeking out. And
Yes.
so I'm like, I really have to check out what this is. And then when I did the Heroes Linked interview, and he's like, you've got to meet Monifa Caines. And I'm like, okay. And Renee Bob, those were the two names I kept hearing. And I
Yeah.
think it was Damien too. You got to meet Monifa. You have to meet Renee Bob. And so it was like when I met both of you, it was already like,
Mhm.
oh, and here she is.
Yes, yes. I'm so glad you are in the cohort. You give so much, and I believe you're receiving a lot. And what I love to see is when, as the lessons are going on, you can see people getting fed with the knowledge that helps everyone that we apply. And that's what
Yes.
we're here for. It's a free program. We don't ask you for a penny. We just ask you to invest in yourself and apply the knowledge that you learn. Yeah.
Are there any other resources that you want to highlight at all?
I do.
Yes, please.
Um, a few things that I have taken that I love. I started off with Dog Tag. They're based out of Washington, D.C., but they're a living, breathing business incubator program. It's starts off with a bakery. It's Dog Tag Bakery, but they have a fellowship program for 6 months. And you can apply that. You don't have to be in Washington, D.C. It's virtual, but everything you learn, then you go to that section or that department in that bakery and you apply it. So when you learn finance, you're helping in accounting. When you learn marketing, you're doing their marketing. When you learn HR, you're doing that. You're doing research, you're doing programs, you are that. Yes, they had me exercising too, yoga, because they believe in mindfulness and all this stuff. And I will tell you, it was one of the best programs that I have taken, because they really just don't focus on the business, they focus on the mind too, and they mold that together. And that's a free program. And in fact, you get a small stipend, I believe, just for being in the program. But and you also get a certificate from Georgetown University, because you have to take a few business classes from them. So it was spectacular.
How long is
Also,
that program?
6 months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
6 months. And it's intense. It's intense,
Okay.
but it's a good intense. I mean, you do have homework, you do have papers, research, you have a big project in the end. Yeah, and classes is very intense, but it was so worth it. And the people that you are there was for 6 months, oh my God, family.
Mm.
Another course I took was Project Opportunity, that was based out of Maryland. And basically, and there are a lot of, I'm sure, other programs like that in other states, but I had to go there in person, and they just basically broke down your business and built it up. And because if you don't have a good foundation, don't continue to build. And it was phenomenal. In fact, if they can help you do anything, they will. Amazing. Also, I took, there's a program called Service to CEO, and it's from the Rosie Network. And you meet once a week, I believe, for 5 months, and you go through different departments of your business. That is exactly where I learned to make a lookbook and make it look
Okay.
good. They teach you other skills, how to really put yourself out there. phenomenal program, Service to CEO. It's also free. Also, Syracuse University has many programs. It's called IVMF. I took VWise, you know about VWise, and I also did EBV, where it's a program you meet virtually, but then the last part of the program, you go in for a week, and it's also very intense, but it was one of the best programs. And I highly encourage people to apply for the EBV program. It is a spectacular finishing program when you are in business, and it really takes you to another level too. So all those programs so far,
That was great. That was
yeah.
a lot. Listen, a lot of times when we think about veterans and resources, people think about healthcare. And that's the thing. When you're a veteran, there's so much out there. Whatever your lane or your interest is, you can typically find some kind of support, knowledge, network that will help strengthen you.
Yes, yes. There's and it doesn't have to be courses, because everybody doesn't have the capability or the time to invest in courses. And that's why I also tap into it's called Veterati. And it's a group of mentors that work in Fortune 500 companies that just want to give back to veterans. And you can go on Veterati, you can see all the mentors and their quote unquote resume, and you can pick who you want to talk to about whatever subject that they're a subject matter expert in. And so you could talk one time, or you can talk 20 times. But even if you don't have the time, because everybody has different constraints, whether it's working full time or family, or you just can't do it, or you just really starting your business, and you have a mentor a phone call away. It's a free service for veterans.
Yeah, there's so many services out there, and everyone names different resources. So it's just wonderful. But you gave a great load there for the veteran entrepreneur. If you're a veteran entrepreneur, these are the
Yes.
resources you want to tap
Yes,
into.
absolutely.
For sure. So talking about being a resource, I always include ourselves. You know, we're walking resources. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, I'm very much into the reach forward, reach back, right? I've
Yes.
been on every aspect of the veteran frame. I'd say often I didn't even know I was a veteran for the first 10 years after I got out of the military. And so I know there are people like me all the way to the other
Yes,
end where people are very well
absolutely.
versed. And
Absolutely.
so in that, who should be reaching out to you overall? If someone's either looking to be connected or, you know, whatever, who should be reaching out to you? One. And then two, what are you looking for? Who, if someone is, you know, like, who do you want to be reached out to, or who are you looking to be connected with? That's the
Okay.
word that I'm looking for. Who are you looking to be connected with?
Okay. So people that I'm looking for that would that is reaching out basically to me for assistance is basically anybody at any level of business that says, hey, I need help. And it's not just about saying I need help with accounting or something. Let me talk to you about certain programs that can help you, or link you up with a person that can help you, or talk to you about certain offices, whether it's in the state or federal, that can assist you, or private programs that can help you. I'm very wide open about talking about all the resources, because the more you learn, most of the time, the less mistakes you make and the less money you will lose in your business lifetime. So I don't have specifically, if you are this person, anybody that just needs help and wants to know where to turn for it. Now, what I'm doing, I'm reaching out to different resources because I continue to learn. I continue to hone my skills. I continue to share what I know. And also I'm also reaching out to be a little bit unorthodox and taking my business somewhere else. So I'm not only just doing and learning about retail business, but now going into sports. So that's another thing that I'm reaching out to people to help me, and especially about the marketing and retail and sports, because there is as department stores would say, a white space there that needs to be filled. But first, I have to learn a little bit more. So I'm reaching out to people so that before I start a new collection or whatever I'm going to do, I know what's needed. I know what they like, what they don't like. I know why certain materials are used, and so on and so on and so on. So yes, there's always a new goal, but for the most part, anybody that just needs to be connected with a resource, I'm here for that.
When you mentioned sports, I have to say, our demographic, I was in a Raider Nation
Mm.
South Los Angeles booster club for
Really?
years. Yes. And it's like 200 members. It's like, I say we're like big kids, but every
Right,
Sunday
right,
we're
right.
taking over a whole restaurant, a whole bar, tailgating. And so we always have the Raider earrings, all the different
Yes.
accessories, all of the things. So I know there is a market
Mm-hmm.
completely out there for you.
Yes. Thank
That
you.
is awesome. Yes, for
I know
sure.
there is too. I know that I can not take away, but add. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, so when you get your Raider gear, let me
Yes.
know. The people are waiting.
Yes. 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 You'll be one of the
Absolutely.
first. Yes.
Yes. I'd love to post it in the Raider group. I mean, all the other sports teams as well. But, there are
Yes.
these unity groups that have full booster clubs. And,
Mm-hmm.
one thing that our Raider group did was we took one game per year and went out of state into it. And it's like a
Yeah.
takeover and a blackout.
Wow.
And
I
so,
love that. I love that. Yes.
yes. So more representative accessories,
Yes.
they are needed. You're wearing Raider gear for 3 days in a row. But
That's
yeah,
right.
the fans are serious.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, I know.
best,
I know. Yes.
much success to you and wishes that. But I just love that again, that your mission came from within. Because
Yes.
that's what I've learned about a lot of very successful business owners is that they're kind of talking to themselves and empowering themselves in the world, other people like them.
Absolutely. And it took me years to start a business. And I always wanted to start a business. But the holdup was I didn't know what I wanted to wake up and do every single day and be excited about it. And because you're going to have a lot of good days, some bad days, and a few awful days. But when you wake up in the morning, what's going to keep you getting up and standing up and going back there? So, yes. And then, of course, a lot of people, sometimes people start their businesses from maybe a negative experience, and they're like, I'm going to turn this around. And that's what happened with me. So,
Again, when you say those years, right?
mm-hmm.
Everyone has their journeys, and a lot of times it takes time and process for us to deprogram when we get out the military and look
Yes.
at life kind of different. And those are those areas that we kind of just blurb over, but where
Mm-hmm.
people kind of really need that fill in the gap. You could be going back home and working in the office for 8 years, and that doesn't mean that you're not going to get to where you want to
I
be.
totally did it. I totally did that. I worked in logistics. I worked in finance. I worked for the state. But I would say before I started my business, 10 years before that, off and on, I wanted to start a business. I would take a course, and I learned, I just did not know what I wanted to do every day. And so that was the holdup. And like I said, a negative experience, that's when a light bulb came on, as I see that other women had the same issue, that I'm like, I enjoy what I do. I love helping and creating. And this is what I'm going to do every day. And it's
Yes.
just morphed into other things.
I love that. And you'll keep morphing and keep growing. And we are rooting for all the success in the world for you.
Thank you. Yes. I love it.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to thank you for your time. I know we have an early morning, the first annual block party that will be passed, but just want to give a
That's
shout out
right.
to
I'm looking forward to it.
that will be awesome. So again, thank you, Miss Monifa. And can you just tell us your website? It will be posted, but just how we can reach you?
Sure. My website, of course, is www.queenofspadesstyle.com. And right now will be putting some new stuff on there because my summer collection was all sold out. I want to thank everybody for supporting and sending those pictures of wearing the clothing and accessories, but there's more to come. And you can also reach out to me via email at hello@queenofspadestyle.com if you have any questions or comments.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Monifa.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun. I appreciate the time. Yes.
Good. I'm glad you had a great time. I look forward to continuing to connect with you and moving forward and learning from you.
Woo! Yes,
Good night.
absolutely. Thank you. Bye, everyone.